Now, in this video, we will discuss how we need to reduce frictions in some cases. First, machines. Machines. Machines are made up of several parts, and one part moves over another part. Suppose you have seen the railway engines. It's also kind of machine where inside a cylinder, a piston moves. A piston moves inside a cylinder. A piston moves. So it's a kind of machine, and inside this is a cylinder, and inside a cylinder a piston moves. And we need, if friction is, we need to reduce friction in between these two surfaces, between two surfaces moving relative to each other. So we need to reduce friction here. And to reduce friction, what we do, we use lubricants like grease or mobile oil, etc. etc. So many engine oils are there, and so in machines we need reduced amount of friction. If friction is high, fair amount of energy will be wasted in the form of heat energy. So to minimize the energy loss, we need a smooth movement, so that piston can slide over or slide under inside the cylinder very smoothly. And to reduce friction, we do some arrangement. And what the arrangement is done? We use machine oil or we use grease, so that friction is reduced. Now coming to motor. A motor means where something runs. And in motors, we have seen motor of pump, we have seen motor of cooler, we have seen motors of various electric fan, where motors are used. And to reduce the friction, in motor, what we have seen that there are two cylinders, and one cylinder rotates and one cylinder remains fixed. And in this case, to reduce friction, we use ball bearing. So here in motors we have seen that two cylinders. One cylinder is fixed and other cylinder is moving over. Bigger cylinder moves over the smaller cylinder. And we use ball bearings. To reduce friction, we use ball bearings, and which helps us in saving our energy in very large amount. So ball bearings are used in motors to reduce friction. Also we use machine oils, also we use engine oils, also we use greases to reduce the friction. So friction is needed to be reduced in motors, friction is needed to reduce in machines, and we do some arrangement to reduce the friction. Sometimes we use grease, sometimes we use mobile oil, sometimes we use engine oils. So many lubricants are there. Any substance that reduce friction is, we term it as lubricant. We know that there are several lubricants, grease, mobile oil, engine oils, and some solid lubricants are also available in market, that is called talcum powder or some powders which reduce friction. Next time coming friction, where reduced friction is needed, is carom board. All of you play carom board, where bigger striker, bigger counter called striker strikes the smaller counters, and rebounce takes place on the board. The counters reflect on the edge of the carom board, and there we need a reduced amount of friction. And to reduce the friction on the surface of the carom board, we use a lubricant, solid lubricant called talcum powder. So talcum powder is used to reduce the friction over the surface of the carom board. Now all of you have seen skiing. Skiing is kind of sports which is played on the surface of ice. You have seen in it, your television ice skiing. In India, also we have the provision with the facility for the ice skiing in Simla, and there also we need a reduced amount of friction. For that we need a special kind of shoes, and not conventional shoes which is used. That shoes has no a solid metal plate shaped in this manner, and here the surface is very smooth, and this can slide over ice, solid ice very smoothly, and very less amount of friction is there. So special designed shoes are used for ice skiing, and this way we reduce the friction between the ice and this specially designed shoes for skiing. And these are ice skiing shoes, and here the shoe is designed in such a manner that very less amount of friction is exists between the shoe and the ice. And here also we need a reduced amount of friction, and for that we need a specially designed shoes having a large surface area, and which can slide over the ice very smoothly. So here are some cases where we need a reduced amount of friction, and we do some arrangement to reduce that friction. A special arrangement. Sometimes we use solid lubricant, sometimes we use liquid lubricant, sometimes we use semi-liquid lubricants. Clear? So I am giving you the examples of some lubricants. Solid lubricant is talcum powder. Your liquid lubricant is mobile oil or engine oil. And your semi-liquid lubricant, example of semi-liquid lubricant is grease and white petroleum jelly, which we call Vaseline. Sometimes we use in our as a cosmetic too. And Vaseline is also a semi-solid lubricant. So these are the list of some lubricants which are used to reduce the friction, where we need to reduce the friction. So there are cases where we need to reduce friction, and we do some arrangement to reduce that friction. So listen the video carefully and get your answers.